Cloud. All right, well, good afternoon. Today is November 2nd, and we are here for another Power Hour with a variety of topics to help better share information and discuss information regarding career and technical education. I'm having some difficulties today figuring out how to use Google and all of the things. So just bear with me. We'll just keep it like this. So today I have some proposed topics of talking about state course codes, possibly talking about programs of study, touching maybe a little bit on college and career pathway endorsements, and of course to make sure everybody's aware of our wide variety of professional development opportunities that are coming up over the next couple of weeks and into the future. So thank you for joining us today. One of the first things I really wanted to chat about was our state course codes. I have a couple of ag teachers with us today, and they were curious about programs, about approved programs, and their program is kind of looking at changing or adding some classes. We always ask that when our school districts hire new teachers and or want to change the curriculum and change what classes they're teaching, that they contact our office to make sure that they're teaching an approved program of classes. We always look for having a licensed educator in the classroom teaching what they're teaching. We have the Pell licensed instructors, and then we also have ELS educator license with stipulations that are based upon work experience. And sometimes teachers within ELS are somewhat limited to the approved classes they can teach. If your district says, yep, you can teach that, but Laura says, I'd rather you not, that's okay. You're still a licensed educator that is in the classroom. We just cannot utilize our grant funds to support that program through the purchase of equipment, supplies, materials, professional development, things like that. And those students will not generate dollars. We've had a lot of discussions at the state level. The state is working on a new formula funding, and it will be based on butts and seats. Students who take one class, they're considered a participant, one class in a program. So if you've got a student taking intro to agriculture, they would be a participant. If you've got a student that's taking intro to agriculture and they are also taking urban agriculture, we're just talking about that, that's on my brain, which is a group 3 skills class, you'd have an approved program of study, and that student would then be counted as a concentrator. Essentially, the way it was explained today in a state meeting is that concentrators should earn double the money of a participant. So students that are taking multiple classes should be taught at a higher level, utilizing more resources at the school, more supplies, materials, needing that more equipment. So therefore, the state sees the need to increase the money that is given through EFE systems to the schools for students that are concentrators. If anybody's looked at your school report card that just came out on Monday, if you look where your report card gives your status of exemplary, commendable, and so forth, and you click how that is determined, it actually will pop up your college and career readiness indicators, and it'll list some of those the CTE program approval students that are taking classes that directly aligns to your school report card data. So that's why we're going to kind of talk about state course codes and check in with our office on what course codes you've got, so that we can help maximize those funds. Again, another way that we like to do that in our schools is that if you're teaching intro to ag as a year-long class, can you break that class up into 2 semesters? And can you tweak the content of the second semester so that it would meet the content of another course code? Or are you teaching ag welding for a full year? Can you break that up into ag welding 1 and then ag welding 2 if there's a course code for that? Accounting 1, accounting 2. That would then turn all of those participants into concentrators and double fund them. So I think kind of speaking that language and having those conversations with educators may help to improve the funding that we'll receive here in our region. So when we talk about the state course codes, and I hate that I can't figure out how to make this bigger. I know there's a trick. I don't know how to do it. um, with all of the programs of study, that's kind of what they're called, programs of study, are listed on the Illinois State Board of Education's website. If you just go to ISB's website, isb.net, and you type in programs of study, it'll take you right to that page. If you look under the program matrices, that's where I go all the time for anything CTE related, because it will only show me those classes that are CTE, that are considered CTE and that are funded at the CTE level with the grants through our office. I know a lot of people will go, well, Laura, I found this code and this is exactly what we're teaching. And my business teacher's teaching it. I'm like, but what is, and it ends in a 0. Well, that's most likely not considered career and tech ed. And then I would politely ask them to change the course code to something that might align with those program matrices. Since I'm crazy here and all over the place, this is actually that website from the ISB website, isbe.net, and then it's the programs of study page. This is where I send everybody when you want to change codes or read course descriptions. It's right here under CTE program matrices. And then you would search for your program. In the conversations we were just having, we were talking about ag related. So I would click on the ag sheet. This is the exact same thing that the ag program shares and utilizes with their teacher prep programs, with their FK grants and all of that. It's all right here. In order to have program approval through our grant processes, you have to teach a group 1 or a group 2. And see, and that's written right here on the page, one course from group 1 or 2. And you have to teach a group 3 class. And those are the skills level courses. Students, when we talk about programs of study, we're looking at the classes that are taken in a column. So this one right here is animal systems, the second column. Most oftentimes our school districts are teaching intro to ag. So there would be their first class, and most oftentimes the second class is animal science. Matt Toon and friends are here, and I think they are also teaching veterinary technology. So that would also be then their second class. And then that would give you an approved program of study, because right now it's teaching 2 classes in a program, which is a column. And they can be at least a semester in length. Renee's old school with us here. When they used to have co-op, they've taken away the co-op course code. And right now, instead of co-op course codes, we're using these workplace experience codes, which happen to be in the group 5. I tell individuals that if you're teaching co-op, that's amazing. Keep doing it, but to use the course code that's in the group 5, that is the most general. So if you have one student doing a work-based learning in animal science systems, and you have one that may be doing something in horticulture, one may be doing something else, still just use this one code because it fits in all of the programs. What ISB likes to see is that our students are getting workplace experience in the program areas that they are teaching at their high school. I mean, that makes sense, right? You take an intro to ag class and you explore what kind of careers are there. Oh, I don't like animal guts or animal poop, so let's go into the plants. Oh yeah, I really like the floral design. I like knowing how flowers grow. What nutrients do they need? And then you would take the next class that's more advanced. And then maybe as you progress through your high school career, okay, I've taken the classes, now I need to work. And I would work in a greenhouse and actually put what I've learned at the high school level into action in the workplace. And so we would want to use then those codes, the no longer general one co-op code for everybody. We would use the specific course code that would align with that. So I hope that kind of makes a little bit of sense. With ag, they're all the same. With our business, family, and consumer sciences, there's not one general code for every program. They are pretty much all different. If you look at this program matrix that we see on the screen, if you just keep scrolling down through the bottom, that's where you'll find all of the course descriptions.
Hey, Laura,
for anything.
do we need to have a course from the fourth level and fifth level?
Nope.
Okay.
It's required a 1 or 2
Hmm.
and a 3
Okay. All right.
at the high school. Now, so Renee, you're kind of in a unique situation. Well, Matt, soon you guys would be too. If your students take an advanced level class that's maybe off campus, like at Lyft or at Heartland Tech,
Hmm.
you could teach the intro level classes at your school and still count that as part of an approved program.
Okay.
Or if you're sharing classes, maybe with a neighboring school district that's just 10 miles down the road, that counts too.
Okay. That would be good too.
Just random fun facts. I know we've got a lot of our schools in our region that'll send students from one school district to another. Welding, I think I just heard somebody say that their kids are going to welding in Shelbyville because they don't have that on their own, which is
Right.
great. So,
Absolutely.
mhm. And then they can do that.
So if the kids, are you familiar with the Caterpillar welding program pathway?
No, because Caterpillar wouldn't have it would have to be aligned to something at the State Board of Education
Okay.
in these matrices. You want me to pull up a welding one?
Sure.
I think it's under here. Yeah. So here's welding.
Okay.
I don't know what they would necessarily be teaching as part of their Caterpillar program. Is it
Well,
curriculum that they're giving to the schools, or is it something that's at their business? Is it something at
I mean,
Heartland?
I think we could do the workforce, the work experience, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I think we could definitely do that.
So you have kids that are actually working at Caterpillar?
That's what they would be doing if they were in the program. Let me turn this on so I can see. So yeah, we don't have anybody involved yet, but it is an
Yeah.
option for our students.
Well,
So
I need to do a little bit more research.
okay.
So ugh, there's a lot of things going on at the state around student experiences with business partners. Right now, so the workplace experience code is in place of co-op. And if
Right.
you remember, co-op had to be taught by a CTE teacher. They had to have taken the two CTE, the co-op classes, and they have to have 1 day a week of instruction with the kids. Well,
Yes.
what's happening is nobody's doing that anymore. I mean, they're doing 2 or 3 weeks in the classroom, teaching employability skills, how to behave when you get there. And then they spend the rest of the time working. Or other things. And I'm hoping that we can maybe get that changed at the state level to expand upon that. Because I mean, if a student's in a workplace doing something and they're also taking the classes at the high school, why is that not the same thing?
Right.
And if they're getting the employability skills somewhere else, maybe that's through the intro class, or maybe that's through um, a careers class that they mandate, or maybe that's even built into their econ with
Mhm.
personal finance,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just recently shared some thoughts on that, but
Well, um, Cassie McCleary, um, she's family and consumer science, and she is doing the work program now. So, they would get that classroom experience and then the actual work hours.
that's awesome.
So I,
So
I
she
mean,
would count then. I mean, she's a licensed, she's a certified co-op teacher.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Then you would use that code. Yeah.
Okay.
And that goes, like I said, it's on your report card. or it will be.
Yes, absolutely. So we had our meeting with Brett and it went well. And I asked him about having the CTE roundtables and the the different departments get together like you guys do. And he's like, yeah, I think that would be a great idea. We need to do that. And he's like, you stay on me. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So he was
Yeah.
in my office and I've got all your stuff hanging up on my bulletin board. And he's like, they do power hour and it's just hilarious. And I'm like, yes, they do.
Mhm. And we always have. It's not anything new.
Right. But I was just,
Always done.
digging a little bit. So
Yeah.
it was kind of fun. But yeah, so we kind of had our symposium with them. And I mean, it was good. It's different.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So I've got a contact that and I cannot remember her name, but anyway, I will find it. That she is going to come, I guess it's through our EPs. She is going to come here and help me with the programs.
Okay.
And
Good.
make sure that we get everything lined up. And so to submit, when do we absolutely have to submit? What's the deadline?
For course codes,
Yeah, I mean, course, programs of study.
well, so programs of study has been around forever.
Right.
And this year they made it mandatory for each EFE to do one.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
So I did mine on HealthOc
right.
because I was the most familiar with it, and the paperwork was kind of annoying. But I think it's going to continue. We'll be, and they're like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and do it for everything. Oh, but on the other hand, though, I'm going to start sharing all this programs of study stuff with all of our schools because this is how you build quality programs.
Yes.
It's all the same elements that are in college and career pathway endorsements, which everybody needs to be looking at.
Yes.
It's making sure you're meeting workforce needs. It's making sure you're infusing English language arts and math into all CTE classes. It's making sure you have work partners through advisory boards. It's not anything different than I haven't been talking about for years.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be mandatory because all the data elements in the programs of study, the size, scope, and quality come directly from the Perkins legislation. So if we're not meeting it, the state's not meeting it, and they won't get their money.
Right. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
And like I said, and right now everything's kind of going hand in hand. So there's no reason to not kind of keep your eye on programs of study and know how to fill that out because it's coming.
Well, and actually, I would just like to do it and get all of ours done because I don't know that we're going to have that many. But we're going to definitely have family and consumer science, maybe the early childhood, maybe the foods, nutrition, and then ag. We could go a couple of different ways too, I think. So
now, programs of study is kind of like at the base level, and then to take it to the next level is college and career pathway endorsements.
Okay.
So there's two different things.
Okay.
And so are you talking about pathway endorsements?
I am talking about CPE. Well, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. The matrices that you had pulled up before.
Yep.
That's
okay.
what I'm looking at.
The matrices are programs of study.
Okay.
Teaching the two classes with a licensed educator.
Yes.
And then it's also making sure your program is of quality.
Yes.
With size, scope, and quality.
Yes. Okay. And then the pathways is when we look at all the courses that they're going to take freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, that flows into this?
Yes. So, yes, there's so many things.
I know, and I don't know all the words again.
Yeah. So college and career pathway endorsements would be taking it one step further. You would have a program of study, and then you would implement in two team-based challenges, two career development events, and 60 hours of work-based learning. I think those are the additional things, and 6 hours of dual credit, college credit
Okay.
to earn the endorsement. And that's an application process.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you did with Health Hawk.
We're working on that one.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep. CCPE is one step further.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Dual credit and all of the things.
6-hour dual credit. Okay. So the 2 team building, is that what you said?
Two team-based challenges. Mhm.
Team based. Okay. I think I wrote this down from the meeting.
Yeah, probably.
From
Larry's presentation. Love it, Larry and
yes,
Heather.
yes. Okay. All right. Because I've been working on the course description handbook and trying to get that all figured out and up to date.
Yeah.
So I do have like lots of questions about which course code we need to use for what, especially if we are going to get our programs of study, the way they need to be.
Yeah. And yep. And Brett's person should be able to help you with that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Slowly coming back to me.
Yeah. And then since you're an oldie and goodie, they updated PACE, post-secondary, blah blah, career expectations through ISAC, where PACE is now 6 through 12. That's career exploration, career development, career assessments, financial literacy, financial aid, having chosen 3 colleges to apply to. One's a reach, one's a comfort, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Like I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, that's it. Mhm.
That's
Yep,
it.
that's it. Yeah, that's revised. That's been revised within the last 12 months.
Okay, I'm not sure. I mean, she just gave me this at the meeting a week ago, so.
Yep, that's all right. Every school district is supposed to have some kind of a plan. And again, it all kind of goes hand in hand, where
Mhm.
we're doing career assessments with kids at certain grade levels, and they're identifying a career plan. And then do we have the classes that align to that? So forth.
Right. I mean,
And all the financial aid stuff, and that goes all into that too.
right. So I would like to see us have a career exploration class. We do not have that. That is on my wish list that I'm gonna advocate for. I mean, I think that was the major one that I needed right now for all of this.
Yep. So you could do career assessments there and work on a career plan and all
yeah,
the things.
and I've got to keep working on just a lot. Working on the not the career cruising. What do I have? The
Major clarity.
yes, thank you.
That's what you told me.
That. So
That's the only one I know of that's with an M.
yeah, right. So anyway, yes. So I need to get on that too, but I wanted to get this course description handbook done first so we can at least see what we're working with.
Yeah.
So
there's been discussions too around students taking the ASVAB test. They've talked about kids taking it prior to a certain age, then it doesn't get reported to the government. But then you could also use their ASVAB score as one of the college and career readiness indicators.
Okay.
I don't know. Did we talk about that at the last guidance counselor
Yeah,
meeting?
I do vaguely remember that.
Okay. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. Okay. All righty.
Yeah. So the last thing on my little list was just to share professional development activities. We've got 2 teacher meetings next week, industrial technology and ag teachers together. We're going to talk about social media and how to recruit students and inform parents. And you could also use that for advisory boards. Courtney's going to share how to make that effective. And then in the afternoon, Larry's going to talk about college and career pathway endorsements. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do a tour of Curry Construction. It is a
Cool.
woman-owned business.
Yeah.
We have some underground construction and metal fabrication that they also do, 2 sister companies.
Nice.
The next meeting is with family and consumer science teachers. We're going to be in Casey. We'll be at Tetzel Prime.
I think Cassie talked about that maybe.
It's a long drive for her, but we're going to be at Tetzel Prime. The owner will be there talking about how she started that business, and I asked her to talk about the pretzel recipe.
Yeah.
If there's any little secrets, to making the dough rise and taste as delicious as it does.
Yeah.
And then we'll stay there. Larry's going to again talk about college and career pathway endorsements with that group of teachers. We'll eat lunch while we're there, and then we'll walk across the street and hear about KZ Coffee Company,
Nice.
how they got started and some of their crazy drinks. And they recently have a new owner, but she kind of was there at the beginning. And then we'll have a beverage treat while we're there. And then the following week is CTE business teachers on, I think that's a Monday. And we'll be at Elevate. Elevate is our new small business incubator that also houses our entrepreneurship class E. With our high school students, and they do a lot of professional development with small businesses to help them get started, as well as providing a lot of resources to the community, such as they wrote for a grant for computers, and there's different organizations that may rent office space in there, and they also have a small maker space and just received a grant to increase the size of that and buy some additional equipment, or maybe they wrote the grant, maybe they didn't receive it yet. Then, of course, December 1st is our next student services. We'll do another power hour on December 7th.
Okay.
And we'll talk with middle school guidance counselors on January 26th. Right now, we've tentatively kind of decided to talk about middle school careers classes.
Yes.
We've got a very active careers class in Charleston. And she's going to come, I think, and talk to the counselors, and then we may invite some resource officers to talk about middle school resource officer type needs.
Okay. That would be good. I mean, I've got junior high too, so
We'll send it to everybody, and whoever wants to come can.
Sounds good.
You're new, but we've talked about some of these topics in a previous meeting, but they were always good, well received. I really like the resource officers talk about vaping.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of kids that are, doing that where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I think I'm good for right now. But I appreciate you letting Cassie join the group. She came back and she was really excited. She got a lot of good information, and was excited about that. So
good. We had some good discussion. It was nice to have state board, state leaders with us talking about, changes and why they changed, and some of those things. So that was really nice too.
Yes, absolutely. She was excited. So I do think she is probably going to take the trek down to Casey. She's like, oh, it's a day off. I can drive, whatever.
Oh my gosh, that's so hilarious. Well, Courtney's on here. She can check and make sure she's signed up. So I think right now we have the most teachers signed up for that one.
Okay.
But they're a good group of teachers, the family and consumer science.
Yes.
Teachers.
And good for her to network too, because
Mhm. Yep.
we're not having that yet. So, but
Yeah.
Brett will get on that.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well, thank you very much.
yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining me. Big crowd
Absolutely.
today.
I'm sorry.
Big crowd today.
Yeah, wasn't it? That's all right.
Yeah,
We're
it's
more
all good.
personable that way.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. Well, have a good evening, guys.
All right. Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Yep. All right. Bye.